Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 2 and our material is about memory in psycholinguistics. What is memory? Memory is the process by which we encode, store, and retrieve information. In psychology, memory is the process in which information is encoded, stored, and retrieved. Encoding allows information that is from the outside world to reach our sense in the form of chemical and physical stimuli. Next, there are three models of memory: sensory memory, short-term memory, and long-term memory. Sensory memory holds sensory information for less than 1 second after an item is perceived. The ability to look at an item and remember what it looks like just a split second of observation or memorization is an example of sensory memory. It is out of cognitive control and is an automatic response. With very short presentation, participants often report that they seem to see more than can actually report. There are three types of sensory memory: iconic memory, echoic memory, and haptic memory.
The second of memory, short-term memory. Point 1. Short-term memory allows recall for a period of several seconds to a minute without rehearsal. The point 2. Short-term memory is believed to rely mostly on an acoustic code for storing information and to a lesser extent a visual code. Point 3. The storage in sensory memory and short-term memory generally has strictly limited capacity and duration, which means that information is not retained indefinitely. The third model of memory is long-term memory. Long-term memory can store much larger quantities of information for potentially unlimited duration. Point 2. Its capacity immeasurably larger. For example, given a random 7-digit number, we may remember it only a few seconds before forgetting, suggesting it was stored in our short-term memory. Point 3. On the other hand, we can remember telephone numbers for many years through repetitive. This information is said to be stored in
Role of memory. Language is a means of communications. In this case, humans use language as a tool to convey the ideas and to code the message. Humans always use language to communicate with one another. Basically, there are two kinds of language that humans learn in their life. The first language L1, the second language L2. The first language is communicate mother tongue, the language when they firstly hear and try to acquire after they were born. While second language is the language that they learn after they have mastered their first language. Usually, they learn second language in a formal school. The most important thing that we should notice is that we acquire other than learn first language and the other way around. When we learn the second language, memory plays the important role. Memory is one of factors which can be used to predict the performance of a student learning foreign language. There are two kinds of memories in our mind: short-term memory and long-term memory. Short-term memory, or better known as working memory, plays the three important roles before the messages are being transferred to the long-term memory or permanent memory. There are three important roles of working memory in a learning language: the language processing, namely language comprehensions, language productions, and vocabulary acquisitions.
Okay, I will explain about language production. In language production, working memory becomes the place where the pronunciation of the words are put in linear order on the basis of the syntactic and semantic relations in the intended utterance. Before the interaction of a motor program that produces the utterance. When we try to something or produce the utterance from the foreign language, certain sound must be presented in working memory so that we will not make error in speech. The next explanation is about vocabulary acquisition. In acquiring the new vocabulary, working memory has a limited capacity that is called phonological loop, in which phonological material is stored, maintained in sequence, and rehearsed. Neuropsychological studies have provided strong evidence suggesting that the phonological loop plays a critical role in vocabulary acquisitions. And the last explanation is about language comprehension. In language comprehension, working memory provides the temporary storage for the information before it's sent into record from the long-term memory. When comprehending the encounters, persons must do more than retrieve the meanings of the individual word. I think enough.